down by 4. The Cardinals on the verge of the National League pennant. Terry Harper to lead things off for the Braves and looks at a strike, and the count is 0-1. Terry Harper, his regular season figures there, batting for the first time in the playoffs. Came in for the injured Washington, and the count is 0-2. St. Louis 3 outs away from their first World Series appearance since 1968, when it was the Cardinals and the Tigers. 1-2 the count. Pitch to Terry Harper. Is a chopper to short. Ozzie Smith over to Hernandez. 1 away in the 9th inning.
There's a great man. And you just saw Jamie Sutter. I wonder how often people realize as you look at her again, play upon nerves that baseball wives go through.
Well, you have to give them a lot of credit. They mean so much to their husbands because the tension and everyday struggle and trying to make it in the major leagues, they have to have that complete support and love from their family.
Bob Horner fouls it back, and the count is 0-1. 2 outs away from the Milwaukee St. Louis World Series. A lot of interesting subplots there. One, of course, Ted Simmons against his old mates. Squibber, fielded by Porter, throws to first for the out. So 2 away. Sutter faced 5 men last night, retired them all. He has faced 6 tonight, retired them all.
What was it Yogi Berra said, the classical linguist? It isn't over till it's over. It is now all but over. That
second out will empty out the parking lot pretty good. There's a lot of them leaving.
Yogi never heard of Sutter when he uttered that. 2 out. Bases empty. Chambliss at the plate. Takes a strike.
Chris had a tough series. No question about it. Usually the Rock of Gibraltar.
Inside. 1-1 the count.
In the meantime, these people have been given a great season by Joe Torre and the Atlanta Braves.
Well, I know it's going to be a very interesting series should the Cardinals win right here and the Milwaukee club. And I'll tell you, it's quite a thrill to be in that fall classic.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. St. Louis a strike away now.
Not a hit or walk off Bruce Sutter. Graphic you just saw, telling the whole story.
The 1-2 pitch to Chambliss is inside, so the count is 2-2. If Chris can keep it going, Dale Murphy would be next. Two out, no one on, 6-2 Cards, and the 2-2 pitch is hit foul outside first by Sonny Jackson.
You know, you have to say something nice about the California Angels, who lost a very, very tough playoffs to the Milwaukee Brewers and also to the Atlanta Ball Club.
Coming up shortly, the ABC News Weekend Report. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. Inside, and the count is full. 3-2. It in the air to left center field, and the St. Louis Cardinals have won the 1982 National League pennant.
And they did it with their pitching, and they did it with their speed, and they did it with bat manipulation the way they've done it all year long. A team torn apart and put together by that man, Whitey Herzog, cut in his own mold, and throughout this series they have played Whitey ball.
The St. Louis Cardinals behind Force in Game 1. And then last night, Oberkfell driving in the game-winning run in the 9th. And tonight, it's Andujar and Sutter. And 4 runs in the 2nd. And they never look back. So the Cardinals on top through much of the early season fell out of first place. In midsummer, the furthest behind they got this year, 3 games. Then came stretch, clinching it with 6 days to go, and then blowing out Atlanta in straight sets. 6-12 and 0 for the Cards, 2-6 and 1 for the Western Division champion Atlanta Braves. Andujar the win, Sutter the save, and Camp, who was gone in the second inning, the loser. There is Negro,
43 years old. As we characterized him at the start, one of the most remarkable competitors in sport. And then the feeling of utter emptiness. As you see, a lonely figure. Darrell Porter, we have just learned, has been named the most valuable player of the National League Championship Playoff Series. The final one, Steve Bedrosian, and the face registered it all.
And I suppose as an appropriate symbol for the Braves here in Atlanta, it's begun to rain, but too late. All right, let's go downstairs. Jim Lampley is there with Darrell Porter. Jim?
Thank you very much, Al. Here's the man who has been named the MVP in this playoff series, Darrell Porter. Darrell, it was a difficult year for you with the injury, but this is a great finishing touch for it, I'm sure.
That is really neat. I just don't know what to say. That's fantastic. It was really just a team effort, though, all the way. Everybody contributed at times. It's a great feeling.
Being in this kind of a playoff was not a new experience for you after Kansas City, but going to a World Series will be. Is this ranked now as your biggest thrill in baseball?
I think it was more fun this year because I was with a bunch of guys that had never won it before. Over there, everybody on that team had won it when I got there. And over here, hardly any of these guys have ever won it before, and it's just really exciting. I tell you, we're just real thrilled.
You struggled throughout much of the year at the plate and then came up with a real big offensive series here. What was it that turned it around for you during this week?
Well, I just try to go out and I try to put all of the playoff stuff out of my mind and just say, hey, you know, I'm just going to relax and I'm just going to try to have fun. We're either going to win this thing or we're going to lose it, but I ain't going to put any pressure on myself. I'm just going to go up there and relax.
All right, congratulations, Darrell. Here's the man who deserves so much of the credit, not only for managing the team to this victory, but also as the architect of this club. Coming out of spring training this year, after all the deals you've made in the last 2 years, were you convinced the pieces were in place?
I felt pretty good about the team, better than I've ever felt going out of spring training. I thought that we'd have a good ball club. We had a good ball club last year, and I thought we were better. I thought with the two Smith boys and the fact that our pitching was a little bit better, and then we had some rookies come through for us.
I know you want to celebrate this victory, but if it's not impolite to ask a little bit about a team you know a great deal about, the Milwaukee Brewers, this will be a contrasting series, your speed and defense against their power.
They got some kind of power, and you got to give them credit. They had their backs against the wall, and they came back and won 3 in a row, and it shows how good they are. And the Angels played pretty good, too. It was a good ball game today, but I tell you, I'm an awful good friend of Gene Autry's, and I work for Harry Dalton. He's a good friend. I had kind of mixed emotions about that thing today, but somebody had to win.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Darrell. You've been in this kind of a playoff before as a manager, but as a manager, being in a World Series will be a new experience for you. Does this now rank as your biggest thrill as a manager?
Well, it has to be. I was close so many times. The first 2 times we were in the playoffs with the Yankees, we got beaten in the last 9th inning and the 5th game, and to get that close and then finally make it's a thrill to me.
Whitey, congratulations to you and every man in this locker room. Now let's go back up to Al Michaels.
Cardinals, the National League champs, are thanks to Alan Ross statistics, Steve Hurt for the graphics, Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, Tom Lasorda. Our congratulations to the St. Louis Cardinals onto the World Series to face the Milwaukee Brewers. Final score 6-2 Cards. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. Coverage of the National League Championship Series has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.